Hey, True Believers, Englentine here with another episode of Comic Book Origins. This time around, we're talking about Shang-Chi, Master of Kung Fu, created by Steve Englehart and Jim Starlin in 1973. So this was supposed to be a Marvel comic book adaptation of the TV show Kung Fu, but guess what, Marvel? You cannot do a comic book based on a Warner Communications TV show because there's DC Comics, of course. So Marvel bought the rights to make comic books about the Fu Manchu characters and spun Shang-Chi off of. Now, Shang-Chi is an original Marvel comic creation, and they did start to move away from the Fu Manchu stuff, and they even changed the name of Fu Manchu, Shang-Chi's primary villain, to Zhang Zhu. One more piece of useless information. So Steve Englehart says he used the name Shang-Chi because Shang means ascending, Shi means vital energy. So there's your Eastern philosophy segment of the day. So with all that information aside, let's kick back, relax, and get this party started. As we get into Special Marvel Edition number 15, The Hands of Shang-Chi, Master of Kung Fu. Bum, bum, bum. And looking at the cover, I gotta say, it doesn't thrill me. It's a very generic cover. It's kind of cluttered. The main focus is on Fu Manchu rather than Shang-Chi himself, even though he's the most colorful one on the cover itself. Doesn't really thrill me here. The book starts off with a Stan Lee presents the power-packed premiere appearance of the most fantastic, most fascinating new hero of this or any other year. I kind of dig on this old style of hyperbole because you do know, as well I'm sure the writers, that this came after the entire creation of the Marvel Universe. Maybe they have seen somebody do karate before. But then again, Shang-Chi, Master of Kung Fu. Shang-Chi, born to be the world's most fearsome fighter, yet also born to carry the cruelest curse in mankind's memory, because his father is the most infamous villain of all time, Fu Manchu. You've never seen anything like this before, we absolutely guarantee it. A tale must begin somewhere, yet not always at the beginning. This tale begins both in the middle and in a chill fortress warmed by violent action of 5 deadly men. Follow us now wherever we may lead, and you will be amply rewarded for it. And we see a big fight going on. A guy with a metal hand yells, "Kill him! Destroy the red-garbed intruder!" And so he's yelling at this, what looks like a sumo wrestler and a couple of samurai. Shang-Chi avoids one of the samurai's blows and the sumo warrior. So the guy with a metal hand and, as he says, metal foot, tries to give him a kick but ends up kicking the wall. Steel limbs are useless when their connecting spine is snapped. Holy crap! The knife wielder lunges toward me. I react automatically, throwing more force than necessary into my kick to pull myself in front of the samurai's second stroke. And while all this action is going, we see a face getting more and more clear that looks like he's watching him. Shang-Chi kicks one of the samurais in the face. Now there remains but one of my original 4 assailants. And it's the big guy. Half-breed fool! No matter how skillful you are, you'll never reach my master. He who is called Fu Manchu. And Shang-Chi looks at him and says, "You are the fool, Sumo. For I am Shang-Chi, and I am the son of..." Dun dun dun. I kid you not. It actually leaves those beats. Dun dun dun. Fu Manchu. And let's address that last image of Fu Manchu and, of course, Shang-Chi as you see him throughout the comic book. Now, this is nothing we noticed because we weren't a lot of little easy-to-offend kind of people back in the day. But you do notice that he was bright yellow, and, of course, so was Shang-Chi. Shang-Chi kind of did the orange thing before Donald Trump. The reason being is because they didn't want to color the Asian the same way as the white man. They didn't want to make him look white because he wasn't white, he was Asian. And they didn't have the coloring techniques they have now to capture the skin color properly. So it was exaggerated. And this has recently caused some controversy. And there you go. That's the story behind it. There's nothing bad. Look, it happens. these guys are like, hey, we want to be progressive and all that kind of stuff. It just ends badly. And that's what happened with Wonder Woman. That's what happened here with Shang-Chi. That's the last I'm going to talk about it because, frankly, it's the 1970s. They didn't have the technology. Give them a frickin' break. A face has intruded upon my thoughts even as I fight. The face of my father. It recalls the last time I saw him, and as his name passes my lips, the memories of that meeting and all that has transpired since. Well, up within me like the Huan's hose springtime floods. Sorry that didn't exactly roll off the tongue there. And we do see Fu Manchu talking to Shang-Chi. We find out that Shang-Chi at this point in time is 19 years old, and he was trained in the martial as well as the mental arts and brought into a weapon so he could be sent into the world to help Fu Manchu better it through his own genius. And he even says there is one, a Dr. Petrie may well be termed the most evil man alive. So Shang-Chi goes to England to get this Dr. Petrie. He sees him in bed. He's about 90 years old, and he's feeling a little bit hesitant, like, yeah, killing's wrong, and this guy's old as hell. He's going to die anyway. Why am I going to kill him? Why did my father send me? But he believes Fu Manchu to be an honorable man, so he actually goes about and kills him, not hearing the dude in the wheelchair behind him pull a gun. Apparently it's Dr. Petrie's friend, and he says the most maudlin Shakespearean dialogue. I have to read it off, guys. Please forgive me this indulgence. Stop precisely where you are, Chinaman. This weapon is loaded, and God knows Sir Dennis Nayland Smith knows how to use it even now. Shang-Chi continues his story. My mind had continued to rage. Introspection had deafened me to the door's creak, the wheelchair's rattle. I froze, a fool. The yellow devil, the inhuman yellow fiend, will he never recognize an end to it? Can we, who opposed him in the past, never be quit of him while we still breathe? For years he filled poor old Petrie's life with lurking, unsuspected horrors, and made him finish that life with a cry of despair on his lips. Would to God you were he, murderer, for I am going to blow your brains out. Shang-Chi then thinks, I felt him tense himself for the act. I thought of life. The knuckle of his forefinger became pale as he began to squeeze the trigger. His eyes flickered once toward his friend. Maybe it's because he's supposed to be an Englishman or something that Steve Englehart thought all Englishmen talk that way. Once again, not dialogue that really rolls off the tongue. This is not a natural conversation, ladies and gentlemen. So we see Shang-Chi kick the gun out of the old man's hands. He yells, Good Lord, man, no one can have moved with such a speed. You're a new sort of servant for him. And he says, I am Shang-Chi, son of Fu Manchu. My father has dreamed of better life on this planet. Your friend murdered his dreams. My act was sad, but just. I stepped into the city, lit night, but then his wheelchair moved again. I whirled ready. Yet he was not renewing his attack. Petrie, old man, I failed you. I'm so sorry, so dreadfully, dreadfully sorry. And Shang-Chi looks on and says, Why do you weep for this man? How can you have loved him so? I am told that he was a foe of world peace, the most evil of men. Evil? Evil, I'll tell you about evil. She comes from San Francisco and... Okay, I'm sorry. No politics. No politics. I'll get back to the story. I'll tell you about Fu Manchu. It was 1911, and I was an agent of the British government, stationed in Burma. When I first heard of a certain man, a man who spoke every civilized language and most of the barbaric, an adept in all arts and sciences, taught in universities and certain obscure arts and sciences no university of today can teach, a man with the intellect of any three men of genius. In short, I learned of him. He was ancient then, older than I am now, but by 1932 he had developed the elixir vitae, the oil of life, to preserve and prolong his vitality. If anything, he has grown younger since then. Agelessness has freed him to work single-mindedly towards his single goal, domination of the world by the Sifan, the most sinister secret society extant. Its adherents, all at his command, include dacoits, Fanizgars, thugs, Hashin, and other even more terrible cults, yet his other weapons are worse, for he employs spiders, rats, reptiles, and other loathsome vermin, as well as the world's most beautiful women as his pawns. The old man continued his story. For 40 years I fought him, first with Petrie, then with others, as the Western governments united behind me. Always he eluded me until U.S. agent Tony McKay and I captured a list of every C-Fan lodge master in China and used it to run him to earth. Yet our attack misfired and he captured us. And we see Fu Manchu standing above, kind of pissed off that Sir Dennis interrupted his work. He murdered McKay outright with an injection of hellish green fluid. It took 6 seconds. He was more artistic with me. There was a guard he used, an enormous sumo named TODD. Fu Manchu said TODD could grind an opponent's bones to paste, and so the old man shows Fu Manchu his leg. My father did this? My father? I could bear to hear no more. Shang-Chi jumps out the window. I know what a deadly instrument the human body can be. So we cut to Shang-Chi, who goes to see his mom to really find out if what he heard was true, and his mom was like, yep, it's all true. And he's like, dude, how could you consent to be his bride? Your country's at war with him, and he's evil. And he's like, well, I couldn't love him, but I love the power, and I wanted to pass that on to my son. And Shang-Chi is like, and I am he, your son, the son of Fu Manchu. I'm starting to believe that Shang-Chi is the son of Fu Manchu. So we cut back to where the story began, and the sumo is saying, you're not welcome here, even if you are the son of Fu Manchu. And Shang-Chi's like, I don't dispute that, TODD. He's like, how do you know my name? And he tells him about Dennis Nayland Smith, and Sumo reacts to that, so Shang-Chi proceeds to beat the tar out of him. Shang-Chi, however, does recognize the fact that the sumo is huge, and he can't underestimate him, so he says, I have to concentrate everything on this battle. And truth be told, it's not a poorly bad drawn battle. I'm not exactly sure what the Chinese characters are that are going around it. That would be kind of interesting. If you guys know how to translate, please let me know in the comments below. And of course, Shang-Chi gets the better of the sumo, throwing him through what looks like a big old door. The Japanese will not soon recover his consciousness. His threat is eliminated, and all that remains is to find my father in this maze he calls his international headquarters. For there is nothing left to oppose me. And he walks away, but we see there's something big and hairy following him. Ron Jeremy. We catch up with Shang-Chi. I pad forward over ancient tiles, feeling their cool rigidity with my toes. But my desire to speak with my father wavers now. I seek respite from my driving conscience in the first room I spy. It is his laboratory. Seeing the evil in the experiments around him, Shang-Chi has a bit of a crisis of conscience. He was taught to honor his mother and father, yet also fight evil, and he wonders how he can do both, figuring that birthing a child and raising one is a product of the body, while committing evil acts is a product of the mind, and doesn't the mind control the body? Therefore, his father is more evil, and he has to stop him. But first, Shang-Chi has to fight a big old green gorilla. He actually says, a gorilla! I was never aware I would face this. From the files of Dr. Fu Manchu, 15 July 1968. Actually says 16. My eyes read it as 15. Go with it. Success greeted me today. Experimentation with the ape has given it definitely a developed brain capable of elementary reasoning. Thus, psychological tortures were able to induce a truly human schizophrenia in the beast. An insane gorilla will make a superlative final guard in the headquarters. Shang-Chi thinks the creature is quick, powerful, and erratic. I must disable it instantly. And he jumps towards it, hitting it. We hear a karaka! Arg! The ape slams him onto the ground. Temporarily blinded, it misjudges its lunge. I duck inside its sweeping arms. And I strike, and we see two fists head towards the gorilla's head. The gorilla takes another swing. Shang-Chi ducks, kicking a torch into his face, catching him on fire. My father has created demons like this all of my life, and I had no inkling of it. How can I have been so credulous? The ape is oblivious to me now, but I stand in its pain-pressed path. It screams once, a terrifyingly man-like scream, its frantically questing paw raking my chest as it lumbers past. But my toes and fingers dig deep into the cracks between the tiles, and I do not join the flaming horror on its hurtling journey to eternity. Excellent, Shang-Chi! We see that it's Fu Manchu that called to him. Shang-Chi prepares to fight. Oh, come. Let there be no violence between two members of the Manchu dynasty. Shang-Chi? Since my sources inform me that you have learned, unfortunately, details concerning my work, you are better served by listening. Shang-Chi says, I listen. Good, you are well educated. Know then that my initial goal was simply the restoration of China to the glory it savored at the time of my birth and nothing more, until the Communist Revolution and Sir Dennis Nayland Smith destroyed much of my power. It embittered me, I do not deny it. I was forced to rebuild the Sifan without Peking's backing, a task which has cost me more than 20 years, but I have succeeded. Now I stand alone, the emperor of an invisible worldwide empire opposed to all recognized governments. And I swear to and by the gods of Cathay that I shall destroy them this time for their mullish stupidity. Surely now, my son, you understand the wisdom and justice of my course, Shang-Chi replies. Father, you speak with absolute assurance, completely convinced that your vision is the only proper way. And like all men who speak thus, you are mad. When next we meet, it will be as implacable enemies. And we see Fu Manchu saying, So be it, Shang-Chi, leave my lair in peace and respect, but never attempt in the near or distant future to alter the decision you have made here. Once, I promised Dr. Petrie he would never fear me again upon my honor as a Mandarin. Yet Mandarins have no place in the vicious struggle for world supremacy being waged today. Every evil on this planet is at my command, and son or no, henceforth they will all be directed toward your doom. And Shang-Chi walks away thinking, I hear his words and believe them. True. He is a man who shapes the world and not vice versa. How can I not believe? When I consider the China I've just stepped from, the China in which he wishes to dwell, the China which no longer truly exists, except as a construct, carefully hidden inside an otherwise innocent office building in the heart of New York, Fu Manchu is all-powerful and I am one man. Some would say I am fortunate to have learned of the deception practiced upon me, to have divorced myself from this evil empire. But I have not lost an empire, I have lost a father. And in all the world I can never find another. Shang-Chi, this means the rising and advancing of a spirit. Next, midnight brings dark deaths. Dun dun dun! So there you go, gang. That's the first appearance of Shang-Chi. And it was alright. It was okay. It was good. I did once again lose myself in the story towards the end there instead of breaking in. And it was entertaining. It was enjoyable. I do think that this is kind of weird. I know that they ended up bringing, of course, Shang-Chi into the Marvel Universe, expanding a little bit on his character, bringing him out of the world of Fu Manchu. But I kind of like this almost self-sustaining story. I think that would have been kind of cool to follow. I've never really paid attention to these books as a kid. I read them here and there, but as an adult, I became more interested. Never went back to the 1970s, though, in all honesty. So this is the first time I'm remembering reading this. I may have read it before, and I didn't know what I was reading because I just read a Fu Manchu book, or a Shang-Chi book. But this was pretty good. I like this. I think I would give this a 4-star. I can recommend this one. What did you think? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to click like, share, subscribe, ring the notification bell if you haven't done it already. Make sure you go on over to Ko-Fi. Drop $1 in the till if you like what we're doing here. This helps keep the lights on. It helps keep us paying the bills and help me make videos for you. And so I'd like to thank everybody who's already done that. And to everyone, all of the true believers, thank you very, very much for watching. Have a good night.